Hey guys, Very Swift here. In this video we're going to be learning about the 360 drift. It's an advanced technique with minimal payout. It's really not a good way to charge nitro, navigate corners, or really increase your time on any track. It's just a stylish way to show off your skill in Kart Rider. The 360 drift is so difficult because it requires 3 buttons to be pressed at the same time. Some people move their brake button so that they can flip their hand and press it with their index fingers. Other people move their thumb onto the brake button and then use their finger to press the drift. What if I told you that there's a new method that doesn't require you to change your controls or your hand position, and it doesn't even require you to use another finger?
Get ready!
The first step to mastering this technique is undertaking the 180 drift. The 360 drift actually comprises of 2 180 drifts in opposite directions. When you press the direction, drift, and brake button at the same time, your car will spin 180 degrees. If you're going too slow though, you'll do a little baby drift instead. But I did promise you that you wouldn't have to move your hands or your controls. Everybody knows that you input your controls by pressing on the buttons. That's the most basic way to use a phone. But a less used form of control on a touchscreen is to tap and drag. This is really useful, but this input method also finds 2 really unique uses in Kart Rider Rush, both of which apply to the 360 drift. The usual method of holding one button and then the other introduces a slight gap where you're not actually changing your direction. This can be fixed by tapping and dragging. By tapping on one direction button and then dragging over to the other direction button, you'll remove the gap in your 360 drift. The tap and drag method can also be applied to holding drift and brake at the same time with just one finger. Just by starting with your thumb on the drift button and then dragging it over to the brake, you can hold down both of them at the same time. This is going to make it so much easier for you to execute a 360 drift. It sounds really simple to execute, but timing is not something that can be taught. So, in order to effectively practice it, here's something you can do. First, go to the large straight section in Up and Down Village. This will help you orient yourself while you're spinning, and it will be difficult for you to crash due to the large, wide track. It will be easier for you to learn this technique if you're always traveling at the same speed at the beginning of your first drift. To do this, I would suggest using a nitro until you reach your top speed, and then we press the arrow key, and then the drift, and then the brake. It's important to press the buttons in this order, as braking earlier will cut your nitro earlier and also decelerate you for longer. Then, keeping the brake button pressed, you want to drag your other thumb over to the other direction button. Your car will then execute its second 180 drift in the correct direction. If you're not getting it, you'll have to think about what you could be doing wrong. Maybe you're holding the first drift for too long, which means that when you try your second drift, it's not going in the direction that you wanted to. Or you could be entering your second 180 drift too early, which would mean that when you exit, you've actually done less than 360 degrees and you'll find yourself facing the nearest wall. After you perfect the timing, you'll be able to chain together 180 drifts, although this will cut down your speed quite a lot. You can do this by just executing the first set of instructions and then changing your arrow key, and then at the right time change your arrow key again, and you can repeat that. As long as your timing is good, I think you can do it indefinitely. Now you have a super cool way to flex on all the opponents in your race when you finish first. This has been Very Swift.